Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through the Netflix break and retest I took this morning. I made about $2,000 in just under 30 minutes. This is overall a very quality setup. I think as a new trader, even as an experienced trader, looking at very high quality setups, studying what went well, what you could have done better, I think this is how you become a better trader. I think even for myself, I look back at trades like this and see, wow, what could I have done better? What could I have done better going forward? So I'm going to be showing you pretty much an entire breakdown of this Netflix trade I took this morning. I'm going to show you where I executed. I'm going to show you where I got out. I'm also going to show you why I was watching Netflix in the first place. And I'm also going to do a quick run through of what the break and retest strategy really is, because it's really the strategy I run pretty much on a daily basis. It's very simple. It's not complicated. I'm not really trading very crazy patterns. I'm just basically trading with supply and demand, key levels, and break and retest those key levels. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. This was a sort of a pretty large P&L for me. This was about $2,000, but I think don't get attached to the profit and loss. Don't see this as a big number and say, wow, that's huge. That makes you a great trader. Getting a big profit doesn't make you a good trader. Actually doing this on a daily basis and leveraging your money the right way, that's what makes you a good trader. In this case, $2,000, I was risking about 20% of this. So that's about $400 to $500. This was about a 4-to-1 risk reward. And the reason and how I'm calculating that was basically showing that my profit was $2,000 and I'm risking about $450 to $500 based upon it being around 20% stop loss. And therefore the risk is 4 times less than the reward, or the reward is 4 times larger than the risk. So that was the setup. That was the trade breakdown in terms of actual profit on the setup and what I was risking. Actual executions, you can see here on the chart. My first scale in was at 10:55. My second sort of sell was, my first sell was at 11 a.m. Again, 11:30, and then my final sale was at 11:43. My net ROI, or the net return on investment, was 86%. This is across all 3 of my sells. And more importantly, you'll see here my actual executions, the price I came in at, what I was selling it for, and my final sale. I was buying it at 1.98. You could see here my first execution was for 1 contract at 1.98. My second one was for 10 contracts at, again, 1.98. And my last buy was at 2.0, just 1 contract. So important thing you see here was I scaled in all around the same time, 10:55, 10:56 a.m. And my first scale outs were 4 contracts, 6 contracts, and 2 contracts at 11:47, 11:31, and 11:43. So let's not spend too much time on this. I just want to show you what I was looking for, why I was even watching Netflix. So let's jump right into the chart. 4-hour time frame. Before we even get into any smaller time frames, I want to show you why I was even watching this ticker, right? What was I even doing looking at Netflix? And the reason why I was watching Netflix was because you can see here, this is a very beautiful demand hold. You can see very strong stock, right? It's a very clean uptrend, right? Very clean uptrend. We have this supply level being formed at 276, 280. We came back down, it came back up, retested it as support. This 280 level moved higher, came back lower, got that little retest rejection, moved lower, came back up, reclaimed this as demand. And this is the important part. We reclaimed this level as a demand zone. It was once supply, now demand, and we are holding it as support. Right? So that's the first thing I'm seeing on Netflix. It's a strong stock. It's holding this big demand level. We get this 2 wicks off it. The first one here, the second one here, and we're getting a big push off of it pre-market and the day prior. So that's the first thing I'm seeing is, 1, the demand hold. And that's a big component of my strategy, is just trading with supply and demand. This is a big demand hold, right? That's the first thing. The second thing I'm seeing is we have this overall downtrend, or this 4-hour flag. Whichever way you want to look at it, this is a big 4-hour flag. You can see how respected it is. All of these wicks and rejections off of it, creating a very beautiful downtrend. And then on top of that, we have this 285 level, which is an hourly pivot at this 285 level. And it lines up perfectly with this overall downtrend. So I knew that if we got above 285, held it as a support level, that we would get a move higher, right? So that was fundamentally the trade plan here, was basically just looking for that clean break above 285 for a move to the upside. So that was a trade, that was a setup. Now let's actually, before we even do that, let's go to the daily time frame. You'll see here on the daily time frame, we also have a gap between 299 and 305. That's a complete side note. Nothing else to really report here. Nothing really I was watching on the daily time frame. It was really just on the 4-hour and hourly time frame. There was a very clean gap there though, from 299 to basically 305, but wasn't really watching that. Wasn't really expecting this move to be as big as it really was. On the hourly time frame, same thing, very strong downtrend, very beautiful demand. If we got above this 285 level, move to the upside, right? So on the 5-minute time frame, you can see here, this is what I was watching, right? on the 5-minute time frame, watching this 285 this morning, and you see that we got above it, right? We got above this level for just about one candle, right? We got one candle, but no clean close above this level, and therefore no retest, no pullback, right? Just like you guys probably already know, when you're taking break and retests, you have to wait for the candle to close above that level. And then once it gets that candle closure, you can then look to long it off that level. In this case, we did not get that candle closure, so not much I can do there. Not much really we can really watch until it gets above and closes above that level. So no trade here off the open, no trade here at 9:35. But at just around 10 o'clock all the way to around 10:55, we started to come back into this 285 level and consolidate, right? You can see here, we started to consolidate into this 285 level. And this was where I became very interested. I love seeing I respect this level. I like to see it reject off of it, reject off of it, reject off of it, showing me that this is actually an area of interest, not just on a larger time frame, but also on an intraday level, right? We're seeing all of these levels, all these wicks coming off of it. This is a big level. If we get above this level on an intraday time frame, on any time frame, we'll get a little unleashed to the upside, right? It'll get unleashed to the upside. So this is what I was watching. I wasn't really longing it yet, right? The first actual entry I made was 10:55/11 a.m. And you'll see here, right, what happened at 10:55. This was the first candle where I actually became interested in entering the position, right? So we got that move above it at around 10:50, 10:55, and then we got that candle closure just at around 10:55 a.m. And then at this point, I was like, okay, now I'm going to look to enter this position for a long side move. So I entered off this retest literally at 285. We got the exact pullback to 285. I bought calls here. I bought just about 12 contracts in total between 10:55 to 10:56. And I pretty much made my first sell just about 5 minutes thereafter. So before we even get into that, let me just take a step back again and just show you what my trade plan was. Before I even pressed this buy button at 285, I created and formulated a trade plan so I would feel more comfortable actually sitting in the trade. What I did was I went to the 5-minute time frame and first defined my stop loss. What I did was I used the previous breakout candle, right? This is the breakout candle. And then I used the previous candle before that as my stop loss. So I used the low of this candle as my stop. So 285.55. This would be marked as my stop loss. So let's indicate that here, this level, entry price, entry point. And then finally, what I also like to do is where I'm going to be taking profit. So in this case, go to the 15-minute time frame. These dotted lines are where I was going to be taking profit. And where did I actually derive that from? Well, it is from one, this sort of wick, this little high day wick at 286. That's the first level. We also have intraday level from back on Monday/Wednesday. Where is that Monday? That's Friday rather. Friday of last week. We see this little intraday level. Again, it came in that same Thursday, right? Pre-market as well. This was an interesting level at 286, also a psychological level. So that was where my first scale out would be. My second scale out was going to be this 287.4 level. You can see here is the pre-market high from Tuesday. It's also the intraday level here at this Monday level. And then again here on Wednesday/Thursday, right? Not a big level on Thursday, but it was the chop zone on Wednesday. So 287.5, 286, and my last scale out was going to be this 290 level. And you can see 290 is a very relevant level. So that was what I was watching on Netflix in terms of where I was scaling out. I entered the trade at around 10:55, and then I pretty much held it into this first level at 286, took 4 contracts off here at 286. You can see 4 contracts were sold at 286. And then my next scale out was 287.4, which was around 11:20, 11:30. You can see here that lines up almost exactly with, 11:31 was my next scale out, right, for 6 contracts. That was 11:31 was just about here at this level. So I scaled out there. And then my final scale out was at this, what level is that? 11:43. So 11:43 was about 2 contracts for 4.0. So 11:43, that is just around right before 290. So that was my trade plan on Netflix. It worked out very nicely. What you can also do to stay in trades like this is use the 5-minute 5 EMA, right? For me, what I like to do is I like to use these, obviously these take profit levels using the 15-minute time frame, but I also like to use the 5-minute 5 EMA as a guide to stay in the trade, right? So in this case, if you use the 5-minute 5 EMA, you would have stayed all the way into this 290 level where we broke below it right here. In hindsight, I could have done better by not scaling out so early, by holding a little bit longer and getting a much larger push into literally today. This ran all the way up to 307. So I was almost just about $20 in the money on this trade if I held it. I'm very happy with the setup I took. I'm very happy with where I got in. What I could have done better here was scale out a little bit later and hold a couple of extra runners. But overall, very solid setup. And I hope this sort of gives you a view, a perspective into what I look for when taking trades. This is what I consider a very high quality trade because it looked very strong on a 4-hour chart. It looked very, very strong on an hourly chart. And on a 5-minute chart, you can see it was pin below 285. We got the break, we got that retest at 285 and that move higher. So this was what I truly think is a perfect break and retest. This is a trade to study off of. And I really hope this helps you, right? Because I think as a new trader, as a developing trader, even as an experienced trader, studying high quality trades, that's how you develop that pattern recognition. And then you're able to look for these trades yourself on your own without going to anybody else for it, right? So that's basically my entire mindset. And that is my goal of creating videos like this, is really just to help you guys. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments. I will be going through it. And again, good luck trading. Have a good night and look forward to seeing you all in the Discord.